and a senior, ended probably one of his most memorable basketball highlights, senior night at Tillamook Gym on Tuesday with the dunk after kicking the ball around the first 5 or 6 times he touched the ball there in the last 2 minutes, but the 5th, 6th time that one counted as he was able to dunk it and cap a great win for the Cheesemakers, looking to push that thing all the way through into the last game of the season. David Wadd, he's your post. He's the most calm, mellow kid out there. He's the 6'4" junior post, and then the most valuable player that the Cheesemakers have. He's been averaging a double-double in league, and that's Jacob Herleman. He's a 6'1" senior, and he is the guy that Banks is going to have to key on. He only scored 3 points against Banks in the first game of the season against Banks. Hancock was the one that really saved the day for the Cheesemakers in that win, as he scored 18 and lit him up in the second half from the three-land. As Emmett Vandehey, he's a 6'3" post, and he's a senior as well. So those are the 3 seniors for Banks, just like Tillamook have 3 seniors as well. Nolan Hill, 5'11", junior wing, and then Aaron Strebelo, a 6' junior wing as well. As Banks has got some athletes, and Pat Mahanan, I do believe, is the head coach. Pat Marlia makes him play hard. He's a feisty, he's a competitive cat, and he hates to lose. And Pat's one of those guys that I'd like to play for because he enjoys getting after it. And the Tillamook Cheesemakers are going to have the hands full again. 4 consecutive quarters, and they've done it on back-to-back nights, and that's awesome to see. As the ball's going to be in the air, Matty Strang is going to jump it up. He's going to back tip to Joey Hancock, and Hancock is going to start out against Banks's man. They're going to go into their scramble set. David Wadd comes to the free throw line. They're going to go baseline to Herleman. David's going to drop to the post, turn, jumper up, and it's good. It's wonderful to see David Wadd not shoot the 17-footer first rattle out of the can. He got to the 8-foot mark and was able to get that ball in the basket with a real high percentage. High screen, that's what Greg Warner talked about. The ball's going to be reversed to the three-point line. They're going to hand it back to their point guard. That's Nolan Hill.
I see we have Wadd camped at the free throw line.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's that 10, 15-foot spot that Tillamook Cheesemakers are nervous about giving up. Banks misses the short jumper from Vandehey as he curled over with his right hand, missed the jump shot. David Wadd ends up collecting the rebound as the Cheesemakers come down early in the first quarter. And again, they're going to feed the ball into the post. Oh, if David would have looked, he had it. Head fake by Herleman, dribble drive with his left hand, flips it up looking for contact. Not there. David Wadd with the offensive rebound to follow. No good as Banks Braves come down with the basketball. Rebound there by Shanahow as Banks sets up their offense. 2 really good looks. I thought David passed up an offensive opportunity to do something with it.
Yeah, tried to tip in and got it off the board a little too hard.
Deep 3 by Banks is going to be missed. Nate McCray gets the offensive defensive rebound, hands it off. Nope, Banks is end up coming up with the loose ball. They're going to lay it in for 2 as Strebelo ends up with the loose ball. McCray couldn't quite handle the long rebound, and Strebelo was the one to scoop it up, and the Cheesemakers find themselves tied 2-2 as the defensive chant starts from the Banks Braves student section. It's going to be Herleman with a deep 3, no good. Rebounded by Banks.
Boy, not his typical range.
Vandehey stole by Hancock. Hancock's going to dribble drive, jump stop, lays the ball in quick, and flips the ball in. Tillamook Cheesemakers lead 4-2. 6 minutes left in the first quarter as Hancock got that steal, and he had a lot of English on that ball because that hit the glass at about the 9-foot mark and was able to crawl up the glass over the top of the rim and fall through. I don't think physics says that that can be done unless some serious spin is on the basketball. It's going to be a deep 3 again by Banks, rebounded by Vandehey offensively, and goes out to their point guard. That's Hill. Hill back to Shanahow, over to Hill again, reverse the ball across to Strebelo. Strebelo's going to eye for 3. Tillamook's in there, man. Banks is doing quite a bit of standing. Not a lot of motion right here. High screen again. David's just going to be sitting at the free throw line. It's going to be a pick and pop for Banks. Deep 3, no good. Ball's high up in the air. Matty Strang has a great rebound. Quick outlet, 60-foot outlet to David Wadd. David tries to get the jump stop. Unfortunately, loses the basketball as Blattner comes from the backside and pokes it away. Great defensive rebound right there by Matty Strang. Had his head up. I wonder what David Wadd was doing cherry picking that deep. But he jump stopped, and that allowed the defense to get back into him. And he missed the shot, or he actually almost turned the ball over. But David Wadd gets the ball on the offensive inbounds play for easy 2 as he flips the ball up. Cheesemakers are up 6-2 to Banks. Banks looks like they're going to want to be shooting the ball a high number of times from the perimeter, and that's fine as long as they don't go in. That's Sandow, who's going to miss the three, going to fight for the rebound. It's going to be Trebolo out. He's going to set the deep three. It's in, it's out, and it's back in as Trebolo knocks down the three on the offensive rebound.
I noticed last time Banks didn't hit a three the whole game, so already they're ahead of that pace.
McRae dribble drive to Hurleman. Hurleman loves that left-handed baseline.
Oh, my.
And boy, a lot of contact there.
Yes.
No
Wow.
call on that as Banks comes down with the rebound. Sandow on the rebound, but again, Hurleman loves the left baseline where he can attack and finish strong with his right hand. Cutaway to Banks and did not cover that very well at all as Vandehay ends up giving Banks the lead, 7-6, about halfway through the first quarter of basketball.
What you don't want to do to a team that hasn't won a league game is let them think they can play with you.
High pick and roll, McRae and Wad. McRae picks the ball up. Wad's going to up fake, go to the baseline with three dribbles, turns the ball over. As the ball, he tries to pass to Joey Hancock, but Hill picks the ball up. It's going to be to Blattner. Blattner's going to launch the two, and Greg Warner's going to call timeout. I would too. We'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from our sponsors.
Look up, Black.
Welcome back. Tillamook Cheesemakers break the press as Matty Strang goes all the way to the baseline and lays the ball in. As Tillamook again has a breakdown, and Sandow gets to go baseline again, lays the ball in. And I don't think that's necessarily what Coach Warner wanted to see defensively, because that's where Tillamook has been lackluster, as they just have been standing on their heels, and Banks has been sort of running circles around him. It's going to be Strang, pick and pop with Wad. Wad from 18, he's going to miss it. Block out on the backside against McRae is successful as Trebolo ends up getting the rebound, going down to Hill. Hill's the point guard. He's got to set the high screen over to Trebolo, back to Blattner. Blattner's going to launch again, and it's going to go. And that is a two, as it is Blattner. And this is the trouble with having Wad standing at the free throw line, as Blattner has the opportunity to shoot the 18-footer. And you're picking your poison, and right now Banks is winning the battle because they're executing the jump shot and Tillamook isn't. Great, holy moly, great look by Nate McRae as he took his time coming off the high pick by Wad. Great dump down to Hurleman as Hurleman scores, making it 13-10 Banks. Tillamook is down three with a little over 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
I think all 5 of our buckets have been right at point-blank range.
Tillamook decides to go 2-3 as Warner did not like how that man was being picked apart, and it's going to be a lob with absolutely no pressure, but fortunately Matty Strang recovers, blocks the shot, and Banks has got themselves trapped in the corner. Reverse to Trebolo. Trebolo's going to set between his legs, back to Hill. So as soon as Tillamook went into the 2-3, Banks started to lob to the backside, and it would have worked, except Strang was a better athlete than Emery was. Trebolo's going to launch for three. It's going to be missed, blocked out, and let's see. We'll see if they're going to get Blattner on the block out, and I think they are, as Blattner and Wad got tied up rebounding. There'll be wholesale changes for both sides. As coming in for Tillamook is going to be Travers and Stelflug. Coming out is going to be 12, 20, and 34 for Banks. Isaac Stelflug and Matt Travers check back in. Full court press still by Banks. Joey Hancock breaks it. He's going to flip the ball to Hurleman. Hurleman jabs left. He's going to crawl hot to the right, and they're going to call traveling right there. As Jacob claims he got pushed, but that's Hurleman's classic move. He took one dribble with his left hand. He crow hopped back to his right, except he had been double teamed and did not get his landing clean, and that was the traveling call that the Cheesemakers had against them. As they still stay in the 2-3, Hurleman's up too high in the middle of that 2-3. He gets a little bit of a push. Banks does a good job screen, and Blattner's going to get the jumper, but he's going to miss it. Hancock into the rebound. He's going to lead the 3-on-2. Bounce pass to Hurleman, kicked out of bounds by Blattner. Blattner does a great job as he goes 90 feet. Actually, it's probably 80 feet here in this gym as he misses the 6-footer at one end and is the trail defender lobbed to Hurleman out of bounds. He's going to drop a shoulder, and they're going to call that thing down the offensive foul.
Yep.
That's an easy call. Hurleman's been frustrated with the way that the game has been officiated and how he's played, and so he was going to have something happen right there. Unfortunately, that something turned into an offensive foul because he was just too aggressive with the shoulder.
One foul on each team. I don't think these officials necessarily want to blow the whistle, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacob is still up too high. It's going to be a deep. Nope, it's going to be a lob to.
Wow.
I believe that was Strebelo. That was that was a lob the whole way because I refuse to believe that shot was that bad. As Strebelo gets the lob. And they're lobbing pretty hard the baseline against Tillamook's zone. Hancock scoops up the bad pass by...
Oh, are you kidding me?
by Stelflug. Hurleman collects the offensive rebound, gets bumped hard, no call. I tell you, Hurleman's going to have to fight through it right here to not pick up his second foul because he got hammered pretty bad on that. He ends up getting the the defensive rebound on Banks' miss. 15-10. Banks is up 5 in the last 15 seconds. Stelflug's going to pull up. He's going to kiss it off the glass. Great bank shot, 45-degree angle, 12 feet extended. Takes it off the glass. 15-12 is the score as the Cheesemakers find themselves down 3 in the closing seconds. And Banks doesn't understand that they're going to run out of time as the buzzer sounds, and Banks does not get a shot off. Tillamook Cheesemakers find themselves down 3 after 1. We'll be back after this word from our sponsors. Out, Bruce. You got to make your own energy here. You got to be careful what you say in the stands because it's quiet enough that everybody can hear. And the Cheesemakers have been living on home cook in the last 2 games. And the gyms were electric both Tuesday and Friday, and that is not the case here. Joey Hancock comes up with the steal as he's able to rip the ball loose. To Stelflug. Stelflug's going to go baseline. He's cut off. Reverse the ball to Hancock. Hancock into Hurleman. Hurleman eyes it up. He's going to reverse the ball with his right hand and lays the ball in. He took his time right there. No double team as Banks was willing to play him straight up. And Banks doesn't have a kid good enough to guard Hurleman if they're going to play him head up. Tillamook finds themselves down 1 early in the second quarter, and the 2-3, I don't know, I don't like the spacing on it. I don't like the lack of communication, but we'll see how it goes as the Cheesemakers again.
Lucky.
Boy, David Wadd poked the ball out as Banks did not seal offensively on the post, and David was able to poke the ball loose. Travers checking in about halfway through the first quarter, still in. It's going to be to Wadd, and they're going to call the foul on Banks as pushing a little bit is Garrett Markham, a 6-foot junior sub for Banks. It's only the second team foul for Banks, 1 team foul for Tillamook, and so Tillamook is going to be inbounding the ball underneath the basket.
It's hard to tell what the refs are willing to call or not because they just haven't blown the whistle much.
It's going to be Hancock in the corner. He loves that shot. It's going to be missed. Fight for the ball. Nope. It's going to be Hill coming out with it. The point guard, that's going to be Barger, the point guard for Banks. Deep 3 again for Banks as Sandhow is able to drain it.
They just look way more confident, the Braves do tonight in their home place.
18-14. It's going to be Wadd to Travers. Wide open 3. He's going to miss it. Banks gets the rebound. Pulling it down is Markham for Banks as Matt Travers. That's his shot. The deep 3. He had a good look at it. Couldn't quite get it taken care of. Wrestlers come in. First day of regionals maybe? I don't know. It's going to be again. Nope. I thought it was going to be straight now on the deep 3, but it wasn't. It was miscommunication. Point guard to post. Turnover. Tillamook Cheesemakers have it. It's going to be Travers chasing the ball down. He's going to go hard with his right hand. Shoulder check. No call. Ball's poked away. A lot of contact right there. No call. Banks gets the ball at the free throw line. Travel. Nope. They're going to get Stelflug on the block as he slid over and was unable to cut him off. Quick dive by Banks from the free throw line results in the personal foul. As checking back in for Banks is going to be Hill. Checking out is going to be Barger. Tillamook is going to have Travers sit on the bench, and McCrae is going to come back in. So it's going to be McCrae, Hurleman, Hancock, Strang, and Wadd, the starting 5 for the Cheesemakers. Ball's going to be entered into the post. David Wadd playing great defense. Should have been a turnover. Hurleman got surprised by the ball just landing right in his lap, but he wasn't able to control it. As the Cheesemakers are going to stay in their 2-3, they've done a little better job in their 2-3, but still screening hard against David Wadd. Banks shot from 8, should have gone. It didn't for Banks, but again, the offensive rebound for Banks is going to allow them a second opportunity as Stray now gets the offensive rebound, and Banks is going to have a chance to shoot a deep 3 again, would be my guess, or they're going to be screened in the middle of the 2-3. David Wadd has really had to face a lot of screens against the Banks zone offense. Dribble drive with his right hand baseline is going to be missed. Hurleman's going to get the offensive rebound. Defensive rebound. Flicks it out to Strang. Hancock is going to set the offense. As Banks stays in their man, it's going to be McCray, dribble drive with his left hand, but this time the foul is going to be called, and it is hard to figure out how the officials are going to call this, because dribble penetration the last 2 times for Tillamook Cheesemakers has had a lot of contact with no call, but that time, not a lot of contact, but there was a call.
Maybe they're kind of getting warmed up like sometimes players need to.
Well, there's no energy in here, so maybe the officials need to have their own, right?
Yep.
Wrestling team just walked in. Again, I think it's first day of regionals. Joey Hancock, deep 3, the other side. That one's good. If you look at how many points he scored and what percentage come from a deep 3 in the corner, that's his best shot.
Yep.
And he loves the out-of-bounds play on the baseline. And I don't know.
Pretty consistent with it, too.
Very consistent. Tillamook in their 2-3. Banks is willing to work one side. They're willing to shoot the 3. That one's going to be short. Long rebound goes to Markham for Banks. And again, they're going to get a second shot. And if you're going to be looking at giving up 3s and offensive rebounds, your opponent is going to have the opportunity to score a lot of points. Tillamook Cheesemakers have been the middle screen that time a little better. It's McCray that curls over the top of that screen, pokes it away. Banks is going to get another opportunity underneath the baseline. 18-17, Tillamook finds themselves down 1 against Banks halfway through the second quarter as David Wadd sort of rubs his face and the post for Banks. Blattner apologizes, says it didn't mean to hit you. It's going to be, again, another 3 by Sandow as Tillamook has just not been able to find out where he is. And this is a team that didn't make a 3 last time at Tillamook. Matty Strang is going to try to bank an 18-footer, and David Wadd is going to chase down the offensive rebound, but he flips it to Banks. Banks is going to attack 1-on-3. He's going to put his head down, drive, lays the ball in with his left hand, kisses off the glass. Going to be a 5-point run for the Banks Braves. Up 6, 23-17. Banks is 3.5 minutes left. This time David Wadd doesn't seal on the post, and it's going to be a turnover as Banks is able to collect the turnover. David didn't seal his man. Defense was able to come up over the top, poke the ball away, and Banks is looking at getting more points up. They're on a 5-0 run between the 2 and the 3 that they put down. Skip pass, 2 guys over. Tillamook does not close out with their hands up, just looking lethargic the whole way through.
Just look flat, don't we?
As they're just allowing Banks to dribble wherever they want. That time it's dribble penetration to Blattner. He misses the lay-in. Offensive rebound by the Banks Braves results in another miss. Another offensive rebound is going to result in another 3. That one's missed, and we'll see if Hurleman gets the rebound. Nope, it is Matty Strang finally collects it, but Banks jumps the passing lane, pokes the ball out of bounds, and Greg Warner is saying, we're going to go 20 switch right here because that looked absolutely horrible.
Yep.
Travers and Stelflug check back in. And Banks is in man press against Hancock, as they're going to say Hancock doesn't run the point. It's going to be Stelflug that runs the point. Flex cut. Joey Hancock just can't make the cut. It's going to be Travers for the deep 3, and he knocks it down, breaking the run with his own 3 ball.
Now we need a little defensive energy here.
Yep. And so I think Greg went to a 20 switch, which means all screens get switched, and they're going to call the illegal screen on Banks as Tucker Sandow came down to set the screen for Blattner, and it was a bit aggressive, and that's going to be a turnover for the Banks Braves, 3rd team.
I think he indicated 11, but 11 shot the ball.
Now, I don't see how that can be. But anyway, wholesale shift change for the Banks Braves as 3 in, 3 out. 23-20 is the score. Banks is up 3. I guess that makes Tillamook down 3. 2 minutes and 18 seconds
that was
left.
A foul on us?
Yes, it is. I take it back. That was a foul on David Wadd. And so Banks is going to inbound the ball underneath. Boy, I tell you, that was...
Boy, I didn't see that at all.
That was as poorly mechanically officiated and called as you can imagine. As Everybody in the gym was
through a screen.
Everybody in the gym was confused, but I tell you, when the fist goes out and the arm is extended shoulder high by an official, that is an offensive call every single time. Except here. There we go. Strange things happen at Banks. Again, Tillamook has gone to a man. I like that.
Oh,
boy, I tell you, point guard had the right idea. The cut was made by Van de Hey. He had his head down. Hale saw him, and Van de Hey fortunately didn't see because Stelflug had been beat. Crossover, goes off his feet. Again, Watt is the setting influence. He goes to Travers. Travers goes to Hancock, and that was close. The official had to hesitate to see if Banks was the last one to touch the ball, and he said yes, as Tillamook is going to inbound the ball in the coffin corner. Not a worse spot in the gym to be able to inbound the ball, but Tillamook does. It's going to be Stelflug running the point, and there it is as Hill gets the foul called. And if I was Hill, I would put as much pressure on Stelflug as the officials will allow, because Isaac is a kid that played 6-man, 7th-man JV minutes, and let me tell you, at the JV level, he was not my point guard. And Tillamook is going to inbound the ball, and it's going to be a bit of a circus. David Watt tracks it down. No over and back ball because Banks pokes the ball away, and Hancock takes over the one, which I appreciate. I don't mind McCray playing the one and Hancock playing the two, but if it's not that, it's got to be Hancock. Travers takes his one dribble, reverses the ball to Watt. He is at the three-point line, calling for flex. It's going to be Matty Strang with his left hand, turning the corner, flipping the ball to Stelflug. Stelflug for the three. He's going to miss it. It's going to be Travers collecting the ball. Offensive rebound. He misses it. It's going to be Wad with the second offensive rebound in the shot. Tillamook got 3 shots on that one, and I really like the aggression that Travers had as he got his offensive rebound and put back, missed it, but Wad pulls Tillamook within 1, 23-22. Back cut no good by Banks. Tillamook is going to back cut you hard against your man as the fake left spin right jump hook is no good by Banks, collected by Stelflug. 40 seconds left. Tillamook is going to, I don't think they're going to be able to go for 1 here, but down 1, you're going to be looking to tie the score. Floater, bank shot, 15 feet for Hancock, goes in as Tillamook gains the lead, 24-23. That's their first lead from when it was 6-5, and Banks has taken control of the game, but it was a little floater from 15 off the glass. Joey really shot at 17 feet, but fortunately they put something behind the rim to knock it back down if you shoot it too hard. 12 seconds. It's going to be high screen by Blattner. It's going to be Hill flipping the ball left. Cut off. Floater from the baseline hits the side of the board. 4 seconds left. Watt's not able to collect the defensive rebound. Banks is not able to collect the offensive rebound. And it's going to be Tillamook inbounding the ball. 84 feet from the basket. 1.7 seconds left. It's going to be Matty Strang. He's going to go to Stelflug. Stelflug's going to get, nope, he's not going to take a dribble. He's going to launch from three-quarter court. Air ball. And that's how the quarter ends. Maybe under control. We'll see how the first 3 minutes of the third quarter comes. That's going to determine how much of a dogfight the last 16 minutes of this basketball game turns out. We'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from 24-23. Looking at the stats for the Tillamook Cheesemakers, scoring for the Cheesemakers, Bruce, how does that turn out for you?
Well, it's interesting that what we said going into the game is that we had to push the ball, we had to do some things very similar to what we did the last 2 games, and somehow the pace of this game just has not lent itself, and I don't know if that's Banks being in control or us being flat or some combination. So we have some decent scoring. Hancock 7, and especially hitting that 3, and then he's hit both of his 2, so he's 3 for 4 from the field. And Wad was 6, all underneath. Good work inside. Hurleman with 4, but only 24 points at halftime. After watching these last 2 games, I feel disappointed that we only have 24 points.
Yeah, we've had quarters where we maybe haven't scored 24, but we've had quarters where we've scored 21.
We had a 21 and a 23 back-to-back quarters the other day.
And so, but what's interesting is, you're sort of like, well, the scoring doesn't look good, but then you put Travers with 3 and Strang with 2 and McCray with 2, and there's 7 points. There's 7 of your 24. That's 30% of your scoring. And if those 3 kids can provide 30% of your offense, you probably are going to be pretty successful. careful because, Hurleman and Hancock and Watt are going to get theirs.
Yep.
And
if you can get some of those out of the other players,
your next three, and if you can get 7 points or you can get 30% of your scoring out of Strang, McCray, and Travers, you're probably in pretty good shape. Yep. If you play with some intensity defensively and not give up offensive rebounds. If you flip that stat sheet over to the Banks side, my guess is you're going to see some 3 balls that racked up points for Straynow and Blattner.
Yeah, and actually, I can't remember which player, but one of Banks' players hit 2 deep shots where it's like his toe must have been over, because they've hit, I think, 5 deep shots, 3 threes, and then 2 twos. They're shooting 37% and still have 23 points because of that extra 3.
And because the offensive rebounds, I think Tillamook has given them extra shots multiple times.
Yes.
And you don't have to shoot very well. You can shoot 33% if you get 3 shots per possession, and you'll score every single possession.
Yeah. And here's a weird thing. You and I were talking at the break. Neither team has shot a free throw.
Which is hard to believe, which tells you that neither team is really honestly going after it.
No, exactly. That goes back to kind of a slower pace, not very aggressive.
It's a gentleman's game.
And I would say kind of passive officiating, too.
There we go. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up 1. We're going to take one last 60-second spot for our sponsors, and we'll be back with third quarter action after this word from our sponsors. Cheesemakers are up 1, 24-23. We're about ready to start the third quarter as the Cheesemakers are going to have the first possession offensively, and it's not the offensive end that I'm interested about. I'm interested in the defensive end, and we'll see if Tillamook can play their man defensively well enough to be able to defend a high screen and then have a little bit of luck. As Banks goes 2-3. Interesting. McCray tries to turn the ball over, couldn't quite figure out how to do it. Strang it has it on top to Hancock on the right-hand side. It's going to be Watt at the high post, take a dribble. He bounces the ball to Strang. Strang attack, one dribble with his right hand to Hurleman. Hurleman's going to crow hop through. He's going to take it off the glass. It's going to be missed. McCray's going to get the offensive rebound and the follow. Tillamook Cheesemakers with better offensive precision and better energy right there and intensity offensively as Cheesemakers come out and score to make it a 9-0 run, as it was 17-23, backdoor cut by the Banks Braves, out of bounds. I tell you, my guess is if you track their first play of the third quarter, 85% of the time they're going to run that same exact play for a backdoor cut.
We got a break there because we got beat.
Yep, that was pretty simple, wasn't it? Hurleman, body, no good. There's going to be the first free throws as Blattner comes out. Hurleman takes one dribble with his left hand and goes up, leaves the ball short, and that's the only reason it wasn't and one, as Hurleman is going to get the first free throws of the game.
So I like the pump fake. I love guys that pump fake and get defenders out of position. It
was 17-23. Cheesemakers weren't looking good after Banks had scored those 5 straight points. It's now 23-27 as Tillamook Cheesemakers, 23-28, have scored 11 unanswered points between the end of the second quarter and the beginning of the third quarter. And Cheesemakers are find themselves up 5. Banks is going to set the high screen. Going to reverse to Straynow. Straynow's going to reverse to Blattner. Blattner's not being guarded basically by Watt between his legs. To Strebelo, to Price, over to Blattner. Blattner's going to shoot from 19, front iron, back iron, all the way around. Oh,
I don't think that was a 3.
They're going to call that a 3, and that breaks the run of 11-0 as Blattner, it's the shortest 3 you can possibly imagine. His foot was 6 inches over, but I guess that's good enough. Strang goes hard with his left hand, doesn't turn the corner very well. It's going to be Watt with the pump fake. He's going to jump stop. He's going to flip the ball up, and he's going to miss it. Fighting for the rebound. The ball's going to be loose. Hurleman dives to the ground, but ripping the ball away and leading the break is going to be the point guard, Hill, and he's going to wait for his teammates. Going to go with his right hand. Hancock cuts him off, drop the ball to Blattner. Blattner's going to jump hook with his right hand, well short. Hurleman comes up with the defensive rebound to Hancock, and Hancock is going to play 5-on-5. Stutter drive, flip the ball to Strang. Strang 2 dribbles, pull up, 8 feet baseline. It goes 7.5, so that's a little bit short, and Banks has the defensive rebound.
I still like, it wasn't the best of shots. I like the pace of that, though.
Oh, absolutely. Tillamook Cheesemakers up 2, 6 minutes left in the quarter. As Banks is methodically running their offense. They're going to take the ball to Strebelo. Strebelo to Hill. Hill's going to call Strebelo over. They're going to go triangle to Blattner. Blattner's playing behind, bounces off his foot. Strebelo to Hill. Hill's going to take the ball over to Straynow. Straynow's going to go with his left hand, cut off by Strang. Reverses, fade away for an 8 on the baseline. Great shot, tying the score, 28-28, as Banks goes on their own 5-0 run, tying the score. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left in the third quarter, and the game feels like both teams actually want to win right now. Tillamook goes into flex. It's going to be Wad pulling the 3 ball, front iron, nothing. Blattner gets the rebound, and Banks is looking to push to create cushion off a tie basketball game. It's going to be Blattner again. This time it's a 2, and it front iron, back iron, but this time it's missed. Pulled down by McCray. He's got his head up. He's looking to push. He reverse spins. He's going to drop the ball to Wad. Wad goes back with his right hand. Should have gone up with his left and misses it. Ball goes out of bounds off Tillamook. It's to Banks. If Wad had gone up with his left hand instead of trying to reverse it, it would have been a lot better. McCray probably should have shot that ball instead of dumping it off. It was a pretty tentative pass. Threw up the timing. 28-28. Stelflug's going to check back in. They're going to go to their backdoor cut. Travel, no call. It's going to be Straynow with the deep 3. Nothing but net. As Straynow has come out and shot the ball much better than he did in the first meeting, as Banks did not make a 3 in the first meeting, and tonight that's really what they're living on. Strang's run the point guard. Don't like that. Coach Gregg's not going to get what he wants out of this. It's going to be a 3 by Wad, and returns the favor, tying the score 31-31, as it's a Trey Fest tonight. Post on post. Actually, Straynow, I guess, is a wing. They're going to drop the ball into the post. Left-hand jump hook against Hurleman. Good. As shooting the ball up that time is Vandehey. Looked pretty good with that left-hand jump hook from the short post. McCray feeds Wad. Wad's got a spider hold on him, and they're going to call the foul. Yeah, they called it late, but Blattner had a pretty good spider hold on Wad, and Wad couldn't get a hold of the basketball. They're going to call this foul on Smith, but not really his foul. It was Blattner's, and just got caught late. What does Vandehey get for his great post move? Bench time.
The Pines.
Thanks, Coach. Tillamook's going to trick the ball underneath. My guess is going to be Hancock shooting the ball. Nope. Stelflug messes it up by trying to get the shot himself. It's going to be Hancock. He's going to shoot the 3 from the 45, and he knocks it down. 34-33, Tillamook Cheesemakers living on the 3.
I don't like it, but I like it when it goes in.
You live by the 3, you die by the 3 right there. Double high screen. You're going to get straight now with the 3 again. This time the screens are set so poorly that Stelflug's able to get through. As Banks is dribbling around looking to turn the ball over. It's going to be swing hard with his left, go with his right.
Go in?
I don't know. As shooting the ball there was Markham. Sub. Travers takes the ball, reverses it to Strang. Strang to Wad. Wad shoots the 3. Held ball. As having the ball down around his hips was Markham. Hurleman says, I'll take a little bit of that. It's going to be jump ball. It's going to be Banks tringing it in. Straynow and Saynow and Strebelo check out for Banks as Banks goes to their bench. Smith is still their point guard. They're going to go to Blattner on the post. Turn around with the right hand. Jump hook, no good.
Thank you.
And they're going to get Markham, I do believe, on the over the back, as he was a bit aggressive going after that offensive rebound. David Wad plays behind Blattner on the post. Blattner goes with his right hand to the jump hook, misses it, and it's Markham going hard. Markham is a linebacker, free safety, running back is what he is, and it looked like it. Is breaking the press is Travers and Wad. I do not like this at all, Sam I am, as Stelflug on the backdoor cut.
You could see that coming, couldn't
flips
you?
the ball to where Hurleman was, and notice the past tense. Hurleman takes a step down as Stelflug dribbled at him, and the flip goes out of bounds. Turnover, Tillamook Cheesemakers. Down 1, 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Banks is going to set the high screen, still hasn't reacted to it. Price gets fouled, and the call is going to be made, and Banks gets their first free throws of the night. As Wad is still sitting back on that high screen and not hedging it hard. It allowed Hill to turn the corner and he's going to get 2 free throws. Up 2, looking to extend the lead. Price bounces the ball, crouches, deep crouch, flips the ball up, back iron, and rolls in.
Everything is bouncing in for them.
Yep. Free throw good for the Cheesemakers. Checking back in is Strang and McCray. Checking out is going to be Stealth, Lug, and Travers as they get the quick blow. And they did exactly their job, which is just to set Strang and McCray down, let them have a break, and come back in. Hill's going to look for the second to make it a 3-point lead. Spins the ball. It's going to be up off his hand, and that's going to be off front iron, and back in as he gets both of them, making it a 37-34 ball game. McCray breaks the press, poke it from behind, turnover as Markham ends up getting it. Matty Strang comes in, takes the dribble, bounces off his foot, goes out of bounds. Banks is going to maintain possession. McCray has a tendency to get the ball poked from behind because he's got it too far out in front of him. He's not protecting it. A little fat man basketball. Greg switches over 2-3, and we'll see if Banks goes back to screening the middle. Nope, it's going to be sweet, just a straight crossover by your point guard. 15-footer, bounces it around, and Hurleman comes down with the rebound. McCray's going to attack. He's going to attack hard. Jump stop, pull up. Nice choice. 8 feet, rims in and out. No good. Pulling down the rebound for Banks is one of their subs to Hill. As Tillamook had a great job, it's going to be Hill looking to penetrate, reverses dribble, sets it up, gets the high screen by Blattner. He's 35 feet near side. Has minute and a half left. And I think that's what Pat said. He said, we're going to pull it out. But that sub goes, nope, I'm going to throw that really weak lob. It looks like a bad 3. And Tillamook does not react to it. And Banks is going to get another opportunity.
We cannot hang on to the ball right now.
Devin King shoots 30 feet out. It goes 27 feet, but really it's a lob, and Tillamook is just so out of sorts that they can't respond to it. Ball's into Blattner. Blattner misses the point-blank range, probably contact, no foul. It's going to be Banks setting the ball up, looking for it. Tillamook just not reacting well at all defensively.
Kind of standing and watching half of us.
Pat wants the timeout, and Tillamook stands around and just allows the timeout to be called. We're going to be back in 30 seconds after. Welcome back. Banks Braves inbound the ball, and I think they're going to, nope, Tillamook comes out and puts just enough pressure. No, Banks is going to do the central stall right here for the last shot of the quarter, and Tillamook looks like they're going to be willing to let the 40 seconds run off the clock. McCray can't just let it be, which I understand. I think it's not bad to come out and just put token pressure, because Banks has shown the ability to turn the ball over without a lot of pressure. Interestingly enough, Joey is not willing to go out there and chase. He's got his hand on his hip. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Tillamook has gone up 1 to down 3 over the course of this quarter, and it is all about intensity as Banks is looking at 15 seconds left, and they're going to come out and they're going to run something. There's your high screen. Nope, I thought they were going to use it. They're going to run their double high screen for Smith. Smith attacks, crossover, flips the ball to the Banks Brave, who's cutting, and they score 39-34. Tillamook finds themselves launching the deep 3, and it's no good. Tillamook Cheesemakers are down 5 going into the fourth quarter. We're going to be back in 6. Very lethargic defensively in the third quarter. And the good news is you've got a quarter of basketball left, and good things happen in 8 minutes as the Cheesemakers get the first possession of the fourth quarter against the 2-3, maybe it's a 1-3-1, I can't tell on the cut. Nice back cut by McCray, flips the ball up and in. Does a great job making just a simple back cut. A good basketball move was what that was. And Tillamook Cheesemakers score the first points of the fourth quarter.
And what part of the reason that worked was because Hancock handled the ball. He hadn't before that.
Turnover. Cheesemakers get the steal as they look to close within 1. Down 3 right now. It's going to be Hancock handing the ball off to McCray. He's going to try to reverse pivot. Had his pocket picked by Smith. Smith is looking to go against Strang. Hesitation, pull up. He's going to reverse. Well, he's going to give the ball to the corner. Simple little cut. Doesn't do any good. And he's trying to give the ball to Hill. Hill finally takes it as McCray tried to reverse pivot, and he gets the ball poked loose from him on a regular basis. 20 switch right there by McCray and Hancock. Back cut by the Banks Braves, and Tillamook got lucky as the ball was thrown away. Turnover for Banks. as Tillamook triggers the ball back in. Markham there makes the back cut. Tillamook gets the switch made, and that's exactly what you should do. If you're going to switch, you should cut hard and see if the defense can pick up the motion that you're going to put on. Strang with his left hand to Stelflug, top of the key. Wad's going to set a high screen. Nope, we're going to try to run flex out of this. Here we are. Hancock makes his flex cut downstream. Strang goes with the dribble. He loses it. He picks it back up. He's going to turn. He's going to try to find the bucket, and it's not there. It's going to be Hurleman with the offensive rebound, and there's the whistle. Hurleman gets in a wrestling match with Markham and is able to rip the ball away. Markham's a pretty good specimen of a man. Not a great basketball player, but a specimen. And Hurleman is strong enough to be able to rip the ball away, and as he tries to flip the ball up, the foul's called, and Hurleman is going to have an opportunity to shoot two.
You know what Banks is doing defensively here is there's one guy who's just dogging Hancock inside his jersey with him to take the ball out of our point guard's hand. Not a bad move.
Nope. Hurleman misses the first, makes the second, 37-39. Tillamook down 2. 6.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, a minute and a half in. Cheesemakers have fought their way back to within 2. There we go. Hurleman does a good job right there, hedging the screen, forcing Hill to pick the ball up.
Nice.
But the ball, Matty Strang is going to get the ball poked away. He's going to come after it hard, dives on the ground. Oh, Banks is going to maintain possession. But that whole thing started without Jacob Hurleman defended the high screen. He came out and hedged that hard, forced Smith to pick the ball up, put the ball in the post's hands, and see if you have any better luck. And Matty Strang provides the energy. We'll see if that's contagious as Hancock is dogging.
Oh, that's terrible call.
Oh, now. You got to call something right there because Smith goes down. He slips. I understand it's a slip, but
that was just his own feet sliding out.
Yeah, but if there was no call right there, you'd have 3/4 of the gym yelling because my point guard just went down and there was contact.
Yeah, but I would have been happy.
Yeah, well, it's not all about you, Bruce. I hate to break it to you.
Oh, okay.
Lori's been telling you that for years, so I don't expect to make any progress on that one. Back cut by Markham again. Markham's going to go with his right hand, and he scores. And any points Banks gets out of Markham is complete gravy. That's just a simple back cut right there. I'm a better athlete than you. Tillamook swings their wings, going to set the high screen.
All of a sudden, they're going to start calling this game different.
Yep, and that's pretty frustrating to have the game called one way. But on the other hand, it's the same type of contact that Joey got called for. What does Markham get for his great back cut and bucket? Some pine time. Thanks, Coach. But it's the same contact that put Joey down. Wad threw the ball away, but
come on.
Everybody stood around assuming it was going to go out of bounds except for Banks, and they're the ones that collect the turnover. Smith pull up from 15. He's going to be missed. Strang with the defensive rebound to Hancock. Stelflug streak of the wing, doesn't get it, but Matty does. Matty goes hard with his right hand, blocked. Hurleman collects the offensive rebound to Wad. Wad's going to flip it all the way over to Stelflug. Stelflug's going to take one dribble, and boy, 35 feet away, the right call's made. Baseline guy didn't see it, but the high man did. As Stelflug goes with his left hand, one dribble, picks the ball up, gets raked pretty hard. 16 foul for the Banks Braves. Down 4 is the Cheesemakers. Strang's going to pull up from 17, nothing but net, as he knocks down the jump shot. 39-41. Tillamook's on the low side by 2. And we'll see.
It's 16 fouls, so we'll be shooting free throws after this.
There we go. Imagine that. Free throws. Down screen for Straylow. I'm mixing up names right there. I'm making stuff up. Say now. That's it. Defended better. Hurleman playing behind the post. Travel, no call. Takes one dribble, looks over shoulder to Blattner for 3.
Oh, my. Oh, he gave him a 2 on it.
Yep. Blattner's unconscious. Greg calls timeout. Here we're going to be back in 60 seconds after this word from the sponsor. Watched him, and he expressed himself clearly, one might say. And it's all about the defensive end, as Banks has just been dogging Joey Hancock all game long, forcing somebody else to be your point guard. And it's not Stelflug. And Stelflug just throws the ball out of bounds.
There wasn't anybody close to that pass.
And you know, that's not Stelflug's, it's Stelflug's turnover, but he's not a point guard.
No.
Never's been a point guard. He doesn't hand the ball fantastically well. That's not his job. There we go. We defend a high screen a little better that time.
Trying to post up Blattner.
Not great. Blattner's going to step through with his left hand. He's going to miss it. Offensive rebound by Blattner.
Wow.
To Hill. Hill's going to fake the 3. Step in, second post is going to knock down the 17-footer. And I tell you, Banks Braves are feeling it right now.
Yep.
They are tasting the W as they find themselves up 6. And again, It is Strang, reversed the ball with his left, no good. Hurleman tries to get the rebound, and it's going to be a jump ball. But who's your point guard? Stelflug.
They have made an intentional effort to take Joey out, and they've done it.
Yeah, and there hasn't been any adjustments by the 5 Cheesemakers. Greg Warner says, I'll put my second point guard in right now. McCray is going to be in. Greg's going to go to 20 switch defensively. And I don't care what defensive scheme you run, pump fake, step through, foul by Matty Strang as Tillamook is willing to play behind your post, and that's Van de Hey. As Hurleman was more than willing to let Van de Hey post him, got the ball, went up, and that's the little left-handed hook that he made last quarter. Hurleman bid on it, but this time Van de Hey ripped through and is going to be Strang on the foul as he's lining up to shoot 2. I hear Papa Wad saying, David, go get that rebound. And when you can hear it through the headphones from 40 feet away over crowd noise, you know David heard it. Free throw is missed by Van de Hey. He's going to shoot a second, up 6, looking to make 7, missed that one. And grandson follows grandfather's orders as he gets the defensive rebound. Coach Greg wants a timeout, so do we. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back. Tillamook Cheesemakers find themselves down 6, and they only got 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to do anything about it, as the Cheesemakers have struggled offensively and defensively. Their offensive struggles have been really started because Joey Hancock is no longer their point guard. It is whoever else happens to be touching the ball, and Hancock is just being face guarded everywhere as he goes by Strabelo, and it has been very effective. It's going to be McCray and 1 as he got a little bit of the arm caught by Hill. He was able to get the ball up. I don't know how, because I thought Hill had a pretty good piece of it, and he's able to take it down off the glass. Made it. He's going to be shooting 1, and we'll see if the Cheesemakers can find lightning in a bottle here. It's not out of reach by any stretch of the imagination. They just have to make certain that they play with more intensity than they have played with over the course of all 3 quarters, and they got to make their free throws. Ball's loose on the ground. It's going to be Blattner written the ball away from Hurleman as Banks comes down with the missed free throw, and the Cheesemakers are playing man-to-man, 20 switch, I do believe, as they're going to be switching all screens from here on out. We'll see if they're able to execute that. And I like McCray up pressuring Smith. Hurleman gets the ball loose as, again, Smith pulled the ball up as he got around McCray, but he doesn't able to handle the ball well enough, and Hurleman is able to take the ball away from him. It's going to be McCray running the point guard, stops to Wad, 20 feet away, top of the key. He's going to be looking for Hancock. Face guard denied. Ball's loose. Going to be Hancock picking the ball up. He's going to get loose. He's going to pull up for the 3. Missed it. It's Matty Strang, backside offensive rebound. Knocks the ball in off the glass as Tillamook scores the first 4 points coming out of the timeout. And Pat says that's about enough of that. I'm going to call timeout. I agree with him right here. 45-43 if they've scored 4 straight. Could have been 5 and we made our free throws. And look at this, came out in a press, kind of like I asked. And Tillamook is in their diamond press, got the hand on the ball, and they got the turnover. Nate McCray got the tip. Hill goes to collect the ball on the sideline. Short arms it, goes off his hands, out of bounds, and the Cheesemakers get the turnover they need. They desperately need, as it's going to be McCray going against Hill. Hill bounces from left to right, depending upon the pickoff. And Van de Hey gets blocked on the breakaway, and it's fighting into the bleachers. Ball goes into the ends, into the bleachers, and I think it's going to stay with Banks. As McCray goes to feed Wad, the ball is poked away by Van de Hey. Van de Hay's got the breakaway. Wad tracks him down, and that says something. If Wad tracks you down, blocks the ball out of bounds, it's going to be Banks that got the turnover to match the turnover that Tillamook just received off their press. Dribble drive against Joey Hancock to Blattner. Collecting the ball there by Hill. It's going to be Joey. David comes out and rides him. That's not bad, except Wad finally came out and guarded that screen. Joey has to do a better job of fighting through the screen in order to be able to give Wad only 2 dribbles that he has to defend the point guard instead of 3, because that's what he had to do. We'll see if Tillamook is able to defend baseline out of bounds. It's going to be Say Now shooting the ball in the corner. Get there, Matty. Get there, Matty. Nope. Pressure by McCray does it.
There we go.
But it was pressure by McCray that forced Hill to not be able to get the ball to Say Now in the corner for the shot. And the turnover occurs as Strabelo threw the ball out of bounds. Tillamook inbounding.
We need to get over the hump here.
Yep, it's going to be McCray, down 2, minute 44 left. Strang on the dribble drive. He's going to pull up, force the ball to the baseline.
Oh, lucky.
He threw it across the key, and Blattner was standing between McCray and Hurleman. Poked the ball loose. They're going to run 4 down. It's going to be to Wad. Nope, they're not going to get the ball into Wad. They're going to get the ball into Hurleman. Hurleman to McCray. McCray squares up. He's looking for Wad. Wad's going to pull the trigger from 17. He's going to be missing it, but it's going to be Strang with the offensive rebound, but he can't control it. Banks pokes it away, as it was Sainow who poked the ball out of bounds, but Matty Strang takes it. We've got a timeout, but we're going to keep it right here, as the Cheesemakers have done a fantastic job of recovering from the doldrums. And that's the area in the sea where the wind don't blow.
That's right.
And you spend a lot of time rocking back and forth in the doldrums, rowing your boat and trying to get something going.
Has only made that one deep 3.
Yeah.
They've done a nice job of keeping the ball out of his hand, therefore he hasn't scored very much.
Yeah, it's all about adjustments, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm looking at team fouls. We have 4, so I'd love for us to be playing ahead. I hate always playing behind.
Come after him hard. It'd be nice to be able to score and tie it up, and that's going to change your attitude a little bit, maybe.
Exactly.
Defensively, I don't know if Tillamook is going to be able to come out and score. They're going to run it. They're going to run Hancock to the corner, be my guess. Nope, they're going to run their back screen series. It's going to be Wad from 17. Nothing but net. Ties the score, 45-45. Cheesemakers got exactly what they needed as Wad hits the biggest shot of the game. Tillamook Cheesemakers are still in their press, and it's going to be Banks that calls the timeout. We'll see it's full timeout. We're going to take a timeout too. We're going to be back in 60 seconds. 45, minute 17 left, and this is the most noise I maybe have ever heard at a Banks boys home basketball game.
It's a good crowd tonight.
It is. Tillamook Cheesemakers are going to stay in their press just keeping the pressure up, not allowing Banks. Yep, there's the backdoor cut. Hurleman ate it up. It's going to be Hill in the corner. Yeah, had a trap. Going to have another backdoor cut. It's going to be Hill. He's going to be cut off. It's going to be out to Blattner. Blattner eyes for 3. Stray now. Nope. Going to be back to
get out and pressure
to Hill. Now it's going to be Barger with the dribble. There's the timeout. Nope, they got their time. They got their 5-second call. It's going to be Hancock. Pat wanted the timeout. He saw it coming. He just didn't get it quite strong enough. Greg's going to take his last timeout, I do believe. That's going to be a 30, as the Cheesemakers got exactly what they needed.
And then trouble.
Yep. As they're going to check Markham out and bring other guys in, as the Cheesemakers have done exactly what they needed to do. No, I wouldn't let him come in.
Nope.
That was after the buzzer. He was not. Anyway, Tillamook is going to have possession of the basketball. 45 seconds left. Score is going to be tied. You've got Strang triggering it in at half court. McCray, Hancock, Hurleman, and Wad. Your starting 5 for the Cheesemakers. It's going to be Hancock curling it in, going with his left hand to Strang on the left wing. Hancock again. They're going to be running a 3-man wave. Hand off to McCray, and they're going to get the foul called right there. So McCray's going to get free throws as they ran a little 3-man weave. And Strang and McCray went to hand the ball off, and Banks stuck their nose in there. And so McCray, with 35 seconds left, is going to get a 1-and-1 to break this tie.
Well, here's the crowd getting into it.
Yep. So Nate locks it up, bounces, shoots the ball up. Back iron, no good. Ball's loose. It's going to be Banks. It's going to be Smith who takes the ball down, pressured hard by McCray. Now, you don't have to foul. But if you do, that's fine. That's going to be just team foul number 5. Score's tied, 27 seconds left.
What you don't want to give up is play so aggressively that you're giving up some backdoor and an easy bucket.
Yep. And so, turn and double, his coach's word, so he wants the ball out of Smith's hands, and they're going to do it. It's going to be to Vandehey. Vandehey takes one dribble, picks the ball up, and it's going to be to Smith. Smith dribble drive. He's going to float. It's going to be missed. Offensive rebound by Blattner. Foul is going to be called on Matty Strang. 18.8 seconds left as Smith shoots the lay-in. It was challenged. Blattner gets the rebound. He goes up. Matty Strang catches him square across the forearms on the shot. And with the score tied, it's going to be Blattner that steps to the line to shoot, except this time it's going to be two. McCrae's shaking his head, thinking about what happened. That's a bad sign. You don't want him to do it. Blattner's going to line it up. He's going to shoot the ball. It's going to be in and out as he misses it as well. Score's going to still be tied. I don't think Greg has any timeouts. He's pleading for a defensive rebound right here.
Yeah, got to block out.
Yep. And if it's a make, Pat's going to want the timeout to set his defense. Blattner eyes it. Going to line it up. Score's tied. Pressure situation. Nothing but net. And there's the timeout as Banks Braves have broken the tie 46-45, and the Cheesemakers have 18 seconds left to do something, and we're going to keep this right.
In this situation, I always think you drive hard to the hoop because defense does not want to foul you.
Correct.
So they're always going to back off when you get close to the hoop. And even out at the perimeter, it's in the bonus. So to me, you get aggressive right here.
Right. You definitely are going to want to come after offensively. And Banks, I believe, is going to be dogging Hancock. I'd be amazed if they didn't. To just see if they can disrupt that, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on McCrae. Offensive rebounds are going to be a key here because you would like to get as many shots up on this possession as you possibly can get. And Pat's talking about it right here. He's going to decide what he wants to do. I don't know, token pressure to slow him down out and put token pressure with the guards. As Tillamook comes in their full court press break. Yep. And Banks is going to respond. Nope, they're going to pressure Hancock, deny him the ball, run him off two screens. Hancock has the basketball. Clock's ticking. Under 15. We'll see what the call is. It's going to be to McCrae. McCrae to Hurleman. They're going to run hero right here. McCrae goes around him with his left hand. He's going to miss it. Matty Strang has the offensive rebound. He's going to miss it. Hurleman's going to have the offensive rebound. He makes it. 2 seconds left. Banks is going to call a timeout. Boy, did I say it. It's all about the offensive rebound, as Hurleman had the shot on the block that he wanted, and he missed it. I think it was Matty Strang that got the offensive rebound. He put it up. He missed it. Hurleman got the third offensive rebound, and he put it in as the Cheesemakers are up 47-45. 3/10 of a second left, and we'll see.
Can you come down? Can you catch and come down?
I don't know. In the pros you can't, but I don't know. The rules are all different.
You got the hometown thumb on the
on the switch.
Yep.
So the officials went over and they talked to the Tillamook bench, and so they're going to put some time on the clock. And they're going to say it's 2 seconds maybe. I don't know. We'll see. The bucket went in with about 2.8 seconds. I looked up at the clock. I was looking right at it. And so they're going to wind it down, and we'll see where they stop it, as it's going to definitely be more than 3/10 of a second. This is going to be a challenge. I guess it's they're going to put it at 2-5, 2-3, 2-1, 2-0, 1-9, 1-8.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, that's probably fair because Banks didn't call timeout immediately after the
ball
shot
went
was
through
made.
the hole.
And that's a pretty savvy play by Banks to understand they had to call a timeout there.
Otherwise the clock just runs.
Right. Instead of putting your head down and being frustrated, they decided to play on. So Banks is going to have to go the length of the court in 1.8 seconds, down by 1. David Wadd's going to be putting pressure on.
Boy, got to be careful not to foul because we are in the bonus with this next foul.
You don't want it, exactly. So 4 Banks Braves lined up 70 feet from the basket. They're going to run a cross screen. They're going to run a double cross screen. They're going to be throwing the ball deep, and there it is. It's the half court. He turns, he shoots. It's going to be short. The offensive rebound is put in, but after the buzzer. The half-court shot was 5 feet short, and Blattner caught the ball in the air, landed, put the ball up. Wow. It went in, but the officials ruled it was after the buzzer.
That's pretty heads-up play.
It was. Blattner's a savvy basketball player because that ball was shot from about 60 feet with 1.5 seconds left, and it went about 35, so it was 15 feet short. Blattner caught it, and he landed and then went back up, and it was off the glass and good, but after the Cheesemakers win a nail-biter, 47-46, to end up 5-5 in league, and Banks ends the season 0-10. Bruce is working up the stats. We're going to have that plus some play-in, play-off scenarios in the league situation after this word from our sponsors. Now,